Just by looking at you for 10 seconds, some people can tell whether you're anxious, insecure, or even lying. Sounds terrifying, doesn't it? But what's even more frightening is that you've probably been revealing those things for a long time without even realizing it. Every single day, the human brain constantly sends out hundreds of tiny signals through the eyes, voice, breathing patterns, posture, and facial expressions. And people who are skilled at observing others can read those signals almost like reading an open book. Many people call it mind reading. But the truth is, there are no superpowers involved. No psychic abilities. No magic. No spirituality. What truly exists is the ability to understand people. Those who study behavioral psychology know that once they understand how someone thinks, they can often predict how that person will react next. That's why sometimes you feel like someone can see right through you. They notice the tension hidden behind your smile, the hesitation in your eyes, or the insecurity buried beneath your calm appearance. And perhaps the most fascinating part is this. Most of the time, our bodies are far more honest than our words. Now imagine this for a moment. If you could have dinner with any famous person in the world, alive or dead, who would you choose? Sounds like just a fun question, right? But psychologists believe that the way someone answers this question can reveal a lot about their personality, emotions, and even the things they may be missing in life. People who choose leaders or entrepreneurs are often drawn to power, achievement, or influence. Those who choose artists, singers, or actors tend to be more emotional and imaginative. Meanwhile, people who choose historical figures from the past sometimes carry a deep curiosity about history or a quiet sadness about experiences they never had the chance to live through. What's fascinating is that the answer itself is not the only thing that matters. Sometimes, the reaction before the answer reveals even more. A subtle shift in the eyes, an unconscious smile, or a few seconds of hesitant silence. The brain often reveals signals before words ever appear. And sometimes, if you observe closely enough, you can understand someone far more deeply than they realize. People can control their words fairly well, but completely controlling the body is a very different story. When someone feels anxious, their breathing pattern often changes slightly. When they're stressed, their hands tend to touch their face or neck more frequently. When they lack confidence, their eyes usually avoid direct eye contact for too long. And sometimes, even a smile that lasts just a little longer than normal can reveal that deep down, they're not as comfortable as they're trying to appear. What's truly fascinating is that most of these reactions happen completely unconsciously. The brain is constantly sending emotional signals outward without us even realizing it. That's why people who are skilled at communication don't just listen to your words. They observe how you speak. They pay attention to your reaction speed, facial expressions, tone of voice, and even the shortest moments of silence. Sometimes, silence says more than hundreds of words ever could. And perhaps the most unsettling part is this. People who deeply understand human psychology can often sense your true emotions before you even become aware of them yourself. If you've ever met someone who seemed to see right through you after just a few minutes of conversation, comment "true" below the video. There's a truth that very few people truly realize. Most of the things we do every day are not completely conscious choices. The human brain is obsessed with saving energy. So over time, it creates automatic pathways called habits. You wake up and grab your phone almost unconsciously. You react to pressure in the same familiar way. You're attracted to the same type of people in relationships. You even repeat old negative thought patterns without noticing it. The brain constantly tries to turn life into familiar patterns so it doesn't have to think too hard. And that is exactly why people are often far more predictable than they believe. Those who understand human psychology know that behavior never appears randomly. Behind every reaction lies a memory, a fear, an emotion, or experiences that have been repeated deep inside the subconscious for years. Sometimes, simply observing how someone reacts under pressure can reveal a great deal about their life. And perhaps the most unsettling part is this: many people spend years living on autopilot without ever truly realizing it. If you're still watching at this point, hit the like button and comment "awake" if you've started paying closer attention to how your brain operates every single day. Have you ever experienced this before? Someone introduces themselves to you, and just a few seconds later, their name completely disappears from your mind. A lot of people assume that means they have a bad memory. But the truth is, sometimes we never truly remembered it in the first place. At the exact moment the other person says their name, your brain is often already busy thinking about something else. What should I say next? What does this person do for a living? Do they remind me of someone I know? Or even completely unrelated thoughts? As a result, your attention becomes divided. And when attention is missing, memory is never fully formed. That's why people who are great at communication often follow one incredibly simple rule: listen, repeat, reply. Truly listen. Repeat the person's name and create a connection with it, maybe through a compliment, an image, or someone else you know with the same name. It sounds simple, but it makes the brain remember things much more powerfully. And sometimes, remembering someone's name is more than just a communication skill. It makes people feel seen, valued, and respected. What's interesting is that people who are skilled at reading minds are usually not geniuses. They simply observe more carefully than most people do. While others only focus on the words being spoken, they pay attention to eye contact, reaction speed, tone of voice, and the smallest emotional shifts. They notice when someone smiles, but their eyes don't truly look happy. They recognize the tension hidden behind a calm response. And sometimes, they can even sense the insecurity that the other person is desperately trying to hide. Psychologists call these micro-expressions, extremely brief facial expressions that appear in less than a second before the brain has time to fully control the face. A flash of surprise, a hint of discomfort, a moment of fear, all of it can pass by in an instant, yet still reveal what someone is truly feeling inside. What's remarkable is that the human brain is often far more honest than we think. And perhaps the most important communication skill is not speaking beautifully, but knowing how to observe and genuinely understand the emotions of the person in front of you. There's something strangely powerful about human psychology. We are deeply influenced by certainty. When someone speaks with confident eye contact, a clear voice, and decisive reactions, our brains naturally tend to trust them more, even if they are not the smartest person in the room. That's why the exact same idea, spoken by two different people, can create completely different effects. One person speaks with hesitation and makes others doubtful. The other speaks with strong conviction, and suddenly everyone starts to feel persuaded. You can see this everywhere: in business, in job interviews, in relationships, and even in everyday life. Confidence doesn't just change the way other people see you. It also changes the way your own brain functions. When you believe you are capable of doing something, your body begins to respond differently. Your eyes become steadier, your voice becomes firmer, and your actions become more decisive. And sometimes, success doesn't begin because you are better than everyone else. It begins because you were willing to believe in yourself first. In the end, the most fascinating thing is not being able to guess what someone is thinking. It's understanding why they think that way in the first place. Every person carries fears they never talk about, wounds hidden behind a calm appearance, emotions they struggle to suppress every single day. And sometimes, all it takes is one person who genuinely observes and listens to understand us far more deeply than we expect. Maybe that's why the people who make us feel truly understood become so special, not because they can read minds, but because they notice the things most people overlook: a sad look in someone's eyes, an unusual moment of silence, or a smile pretending everything is fine while inside they are completely exhausted. Human beings send emotional signals every single day. It's just that very few people truly notice them. And perhaps, the more you begin to understand human psychology, the more you may start to understand yourself in a completely different way. If you enjoy content about psychology, communication, and exploring how the human brain works, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and join us for the next videos ahead.